To be. Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden history. A hidden history.
Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden history.
Davidic contract. Time running this remains. All the things you can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see it written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hearkening, that if you will today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, follow me, yeah, to the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, yeah, to the Saturday. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden history.
Do you really wanna know? Well, I really wanna know, yeah. Cause there's a place so amazing with all the things I really wanna know, yeah. I've been driving all night, looking for the right turn to make all the change you make. If you really want to ride, just hold on tight and I'll take you to the place to be. Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden history. A hidden history.
Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden history.
Davidic contract. Time running this remains. All the things you can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see it written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hearkening, that if you will today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, follow me, yeah, to the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, yeah, to the Saturday. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden history.
Do you really wanna know? Well, I really wanna know, yeah. Cause there's a place so amazing with all the things I really wanna know, yeah. I've been driving all night, looking for the right turn to make all the change you make. If you really want to ride, just hold on tight and I'll take you to the place to be. Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden history. A hidden history.
Do you know what today is?
It's a hidden
the things you can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see it written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hearkening, that if you were today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, follow me, yeah, to the Sabbath, yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, to the Sabbath day. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is?
It's our hidden history.
You can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see it written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hearkening, that if you were today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, follow me, yeah, to the Sabbath, yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, yeah, to the Sabbath day. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is?
It's our hidden history.
You can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see it written. Do you know what today is? History, yeah. Time running, it's amazing. All the things you can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see it written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm walking in, that if you
Hey, shalom, Most High Christ bless. Welcome back to another episode of Our Hidden History. You're now tuned into
Our Hidden History radio show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all don't know it? Y'all don't know the jingle?
He was just staring at us.
Yeah, he's just looking like, wow.
Yo,
He's
listen,
like,
yo, we in the building. That's all that matters.
we in the
building.
All praises, all praises.
You know he just learned English. So.
Hey,
Oh, damn.
listen, yo.
Dang. Hey, first want to give a shout out to leadership, Deacon Malafia for that crazy class. That class, yeah. The music, just everything about that class was crazy.
Yeah.
The music at the end, the war music, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Just had you in the spirit. So, all praises, man. All praises. So now, I know we changed the title. It's called now Echoes of Rome. Listen, we still dealing with Rome. We haven't reared off from Rome at all. All right, we're dealing with Rome and how it parallels with America today. So we've been going, and also with the Echoes of Rome, we've been going through the 12 feathers. All right. Hey, pull up that Bible Atlas, the 12 feathers, real quick. Hey, can you turn my headphones up a little bit? Someone? I appreciate it. Appreciate it, IT. Just a tad bit. All right. So this is the Bible Atlas. Hey, go up. Go to the top. All right. Hey, officer, y'all can read that for me.
The emperors of Rome. Name, Caesar Augustus.
So Caesar, here it has Caesar Augustus as the first feather of the 12. That is wrong. Okay. The first feather of the 12 will be Julius Caesar. All right. They like to say Augustus Caesar was the first, but it was Julius Caesar. All right. So now it's Julius Caesar. Then go ahead.
Tiberius.
So Augustus, remember, Augustus was the longest reigning feather, the longest reigning emperor out of the 12 feathers, the longest reigning. Go ahead.
Gaius.
So, no, go back to Tiberius.
Tiberius.
All right, so you have Tiberius. Go ahead.
Gaius.
You got Gaius. Go ahead.
Claudius.
So we dealt with Claudius. Claudius is the fifth feather. Go ahead.
Nero.
Remember, what happened under Emperor Nero? The destruction of Jerusalem, 70 A.D. That went down under Nero, Emperor Nero. Remember the fire, 64 A.D.? Matter of fact, read everything that happened under Nero.
Paul's third missionary journey AD 53 to 57, increasing zealot pressure.
So we went over the zealots. Go ahead.
Paul imprisoned at Caesarea.
Right.
AD 57 to 59. Paul's voyage to Rome and imprisonment. AD 60 to 62.
Go ahead.
Likely setting for writing prison letters. Ephesians, Colossians, Philemon, Philippians.
Right. So they're saying that when Paul was locked up in Rome, that was likely him writing. That's when he wrote the letters. All right. Paul's letters. Go ahead.
Great fire in Rome, AD 64.
So remember, we touched on the fire in Rome in 64 AD and how after that fire, that's when they started to come down on us hard. That's when they started to come down on us very, very hard. The apostles and the rest of the disciples and any of us that were following after Christ at that time. All right, that put us under huge notoriety at that time. Why? Because Nero blamed the fire on us. They blamed it on us. And listen, they ain't even charge us for the fire. They charged us because they said that we was haters of mankind. That's what we was charged for. We wasn't even charged for the fire. All right, go ahead.
Brief but intense persecution of Christians in Rome.
Yep, read.
Outbreak of Jewish revolt, AD 66.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's second Roman imprisonment, AD 66 to 67.
So now this is what started to lead up to the destruction, 70 AD. Go ahead.
Martyrdom of Paul and Peter, AD 65 or 67. Rome conquers Galilee. Suicide of Nero in June AD 68.
Right. Now go to the next feather.
The year of the four emperors, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian.
Now, it's called the year of the four emperors. Why? Because they all had a short reign. That's why they just grouped them all together. Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian. With them four, that reign was like 2 years. And Vespasian was the one that came out on top out of all of them. Okay, which was a two. So between the four, it was like a 2-year reign between all of them. All right. Go ahead.
Vespasian.
So that Vespasian, the one that came up out of the year of the four emperors. Out of the four, Vespasian, the one that reigned the longest. Go ahead. But between the year of the four emperors, it was 2 years between all of them. Go ahead.
Titus.
So you had Titus. So we're dealing with Titus. Go ahead.
Domitian.
So we're dealing with Titus and Domitian. That's who we're under right now. Titus and Domitian. We're going to group them together. All right? Why? Because Titus' reign was 79 to 81 AD. Titus only had 2 years. He only had a 2-year reign. Okay? Then between Domitian had the longest reign between him and Titus. But that's why we wasn't dwelling on Titus that long. All right? So we're going to group them together, Titus and Domitian. All right? You could drop that. So now, get me 1 second. Give me history of the Christians in Rome. Yep. So this is the book, The Early Christians in Rome by H.D.M. Spence Jones. All right, from 1920s. All right, give me page 39.
Where you want to start?
After the death of Nero.
After the death of Nero, during the very brief reigns of Galba, Otho, and Vitellius, probably the persecution of Christians owing to the disturbed state of Rome and the empire languished. When, however, the Flavian house in the person of Vespasian was firmly placed in power, the policy of the government of Nero, which held that the Christians were a sect, the tendency of those of whose beliefs and practice was hostile to the very foundations and established principles of the Roman government, was strictly adhered to and possibly even developed.
Hey, so listen, this was in their policies. They put this law into effect. This was the decree that Nero put into law. All right, that we was hostile to the government. That was a policy. They put that in their policy. Yo, the Christian sect is hostile to the government. So you know what that mean? If you said that you was a Christian, if you was out teaching at that time, you was getting locked up. And you was going to be brought up on charges hostile to treason charges, actually. Hostile to the government. That's treason. Read it again. Read when, however.
When, however, the Flavian house in the person of Vespasian was firmly placed in power, the policy of the government of Nero, which held that the Christians were a sect, the tendency of whose beliefs and practice was hostile to the very foundations and established principles of the Roman government, was strictly adhered to and possibly even developed.
He put that in his policy. Give me that in Psalm 94. Before you get that, give me Isaiah. I think it's Isaiah 10. Hey, don't think they're not making these same policies today. As we speak, they're setting up policies, decrees, putting mandates. They're putting all these things into effect now to come after us. All right? Is that what I want, Isaiah 10?
What you looking for?
Come on, brother. Isaiah 10 and 1.
Yes, sir. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1.
Read.
Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
You see that? So destruction. The Bible says destruction unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. All right? And that write grievousness which they have prescribed. That's their policies. All right? That's their policies. Give me Daniel 8:25.
Yes,
Daniel 8:25.
Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25.
Let me get it. Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25. And through his policy also.
Through what? Hold on. Through what?
And through his policy.
See that? And through his policy. Go ahead.
Also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
You see that? Through his policies. Through their policies, they shall cause their craftiness to prosper. Why? Because they're in power. They're in power. They're able to cause their policies, their craft that they write in their policies to prosper. Okay, read it again.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
You see that? Cause craft to prosper in his hand. From there, get me Malachi, with that Micah 2. Micah 2. Keep playing around with this man. Micah chapter 2.
Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
That's their think tanks. They devise iniquities. And do what?
That devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
So they come up with iniquities in their policies. They put in their policies, and then they practice it, the craft. The craft that they come up with, they practice that thing. Go ahead.
When the morning is light, they practice it.
You see that? Read.
Because it is in the power of their hand.
Right. That's why it prosper. Whatever they set forth, it prospers because it's in their power. They can do it. They have control over the earth. They're ruling the earth. Read. All right, that's all I want on that. That's all I want.
You want Psalms?
Yeah, give me the Psalms.
Psalms chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?
You see that? They frame mischief by law. Okay? They frame mischief by law. They put these things in, they call mandates. Okay? Remember with the jab, they came out with different mandates. All right? There was one in Florida. In Florida, they passing some laws they got now. You can't even have a Bible. All right? Some laws they have, you can't even pass out flyers. Down in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
They taking history out of the schools. They taking history out of the schools. They call it the not the 1619 project. They call it something else. The critical race theory. They call it critical race theory.
CRT.
They put these in their laws, huh?
CRT.
CRT, yes. Okay, so these are their policies that they set forth. The craftiness. Give me Psalms 83.
Sir.
Get more on the craftiness
Yes,
of their
we got
policies.
Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10.
Yep.
Yep. Get that next.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
Read.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Read.
They have taken crafty counsel.
That's their policies. Today is their policies. They've done what?
They have taken crafty counsel.
That's their think tanks. That's their League of Nations. All right? They taking crafty counsel. Read.
Against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
So just like in ancient Rome, this is what was going on in ancient Rome. Same thing likewise today. Remember, America is an extension of ancient Rome. It's going to happen again. They already have it. They already have the policies. I don't know if you remember the Edomite. Remember Senator Bass. Remember Senator Bass was talking to the FBI director. And she was questioning him about the extremists. I think they're Hebrew extremists or whatever. And she was questioning him, and she was like, yo, I seen him on the streets or whatever, but he was like, look, we got to get him. That's our issue. We got to go after them. So from that point, you think they ain't been setting up laws and policies and so forth against us? You better believe it. It's happening right now. All right? Let's go back to the page. Just like they did back in ancient Rome. Same thing today.
When, however, the Flavian house in the person of Vespasian was firmly placed in power, the policy of the government of Nero, which held that the Christians were a sect, the tendency of whose beliefs and practice was hostile to the very foundation and established principles of the Roman government, was strictly adhered to and possibly even developed.
I'm sorry. Also, those policies and so forth, when you look at Amalek with the anti-Semitism and so forth, they set up a lot of laws for that anti-Semitism. Yeah. I remember a brother here, a brother that's with us. He worked with the for the transportation here in Philly, and he said that the passing out flyers or something on the SEPTA buses, the director of the SEPTA buses is Amalek, and she put out hate speech laws and so forth set up in the transportation to come after that is anti-Semitism. And that if you get caught, there was going to be repercussions if you got caught. Okay? So listen, they putting their laws together. They putting it together. All right, go back. You got something?
I was about to say, the verbiage of this, right, it seems similar to how Ammon, you know how he said that the uniting of their kingdom shall not be able to be established with the Israelites, because he says that we were against
Haman.
Yeah. It sounds like the same verbiage, because they know when we're established, we're going to turn the world upside down.
Yes.
And throw everything out of course for them.
Exactly. So same thing Haman was saying. All right. He said there's a certain malicious people that's amongst us. All right. The kingdom cannot be established with these people around. We got to do something. Same thing when we read about Daniel. All right. Same thing when they set up the image. All right. So keep reading.
The followers of the sect were deemed outlaws, and the name of a Christian was treated as a crime.
There you go.
Dang.
There you read it again. Read it again.
The followers of the sect were deemed outlaws.
So the followers of the sect, following after Christ, we were deemed what?
Outlaws.
We were called outlaws. We were rebels.
Dang.
We were rebels. Go ahead.
And the name of a Christian was treated as a crime.
And the name of a Christian was treated as a crime. Just like today is going to be the name, calling yourself an Israelite, going to be treated as a crime.
Be hated by many for my name's sake.
Be hated by many for my name's sake. Get that.
It's the same thing that happened in Maccabees.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yo, there, let's read that too. Show you how. Remember the policies and so forth that Rome set up, it extends from Greece. Remember the Greco-Roman Empire. So they come from Greece. A lot of their laws and so forth that they established come from Greece. Same people, same race of people. The devil.
Matthew 24:9.
The dragon.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
There you go. We should be hated of all the nations for the name of Christ. should be hated of all nations for the name of Christ, for professing the name of Christ. All right? So our leadership trying to letting us know, build your spirit up, build your spirit up. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's when. It's going to go down. It's going to go down. Remember, the Most High judgments is like a rain. It goes around and around. Okay? What I wanted, Maccabees.
2 Maccabees 6.
6 and 6.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 6.
Uh-huh.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days, or ancient feast, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Right. That's it going back into us being outlaws. Okay? Calling yourself a Christian is going to be a crime. So now they're going to set out different mandates. This was the Inquisition at this time. This was the Inquisition in Greece to see who's calling themselves Christians, to see who's calling themselves an Israelite. Go ahead, read again.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days, or ancient feast, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Uh-huh.
And, you want to keep reading?
Yep, keep reading.
And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighboring cities of the heathen.
There you go. There went out a what?
There went out a decree
A policy,
to the neighboring cities of the heathen.
a mandate.
By the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. And whosoever would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
How you think they were putting us to death? How you think they were putting us to death? Inquisition, inquiring. Even if it entailed getting a family member. I don't know if y'all remember Biden put out a policy, a decree that if you know anybody that I'm paraphrasing it. He did put out a decree that if you knew anyone that was like an extremist or something like that, like that was close to you, like a family member, a brother, or something like that, you could turn them in. It was something of that. It was something of that along those lines. I forgot what it was, but anyway, how you think that was going down? It was an inquisition. Okay, that's what was happening. It was an inquisition. All right, let's go back to the page. Don't worry about it. Go back to the page.
We read it again.
Yep.
The followers of the sect were deemed outlaws, and the name of a Christian was treated as a crime.
Read.
There's a famous passage in Sulpicius Severus, 4th century, which most modern scholars consider to have been an extract from a lost book of Tacitus. It is an account of a council of war held after the storming of Jerusalem, AD 70. In this council, Titus, the son and heir of Vespasian.
Hey, hold on. I want y'all to listen good to this. Listen good to what Titus said, okay, about destroying our temple, about destroying our city, destroying us, period. Watch this. Read.
In this council, Titus, the son and heir of Vespasian.
So there was a special council going on. Around 70 AD, there was a council going on. So, hey, read the top again. Read the top again.
There is a famous passage in Sulpicius Severus, 4th century, which most modern scholars consider to have been an extract from a lost book of Tacitus.
So this ain't out. This ain't readily available for anybody to read. This is in a lost book of the historian Tacitus, of the Roman historian. Read on.
It is an account of a council of war held after the storming of Jerusalem.
So after the storming of Jerusalem, after they destroyed it, read.
AD 70. In this council, Titus, the son and heir of Vespasian, the hero of the great campaign which closed with the fall of Jerusalem, is reported to have expressed the opinion that the temple ought to be destroyed in order that the religion of the Jews and of the Christians might be more completely rooted up.
Damn. You see that? The whole point, he's saying the whole point of destroying our temple is that the Jews and the Christians be rooted up. Because he know the temple is what held us together. Without our temple, he figured that, look, it was a wrap for us. Okay. Read on.
For these religions, though opposed to each other, had yet the same origin.
You see that? Though opposed to each other, it had the same origin. Go ahead.
The Christians had sprung from the Jews, and when the root was torn up, the stem issuing from the root would easily be destroyed.
So that was his plan. That was his whole plan. We got to destroy that temple. That temple is what's keeping them together. That temple is what keeps them grounded. Okay? That temple is what keeps them grounded. We got to get rid of the temple. That's going to uproot all of them. Go ahead.
It's letting you know there's something, too, that the Christians had sprung from the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
So the first believers in Christ and those that were being taught, those Gentiles out and about throughout Galatia and Ephesians, they were all what? Jews. They were all Jews.
They were all Jews. All praise. They were all Jews.
That were opposed to each other. You had those that were born in the land, the southern kingdom, then you had the other ones that were scattered abroad, that were living in Gentile state of mind, but they were all Jews.
Hey, give me Acts 11:26. The word Christian. Let me show you where Christian came from.
Those were the branches that had fallen off when you read Romans 11.
Right.
So, but people know it's just our people that got bamboozled.
Yeah, bamboozle and deep dummies. Read that.
Acts chapter 11 and verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
So that word Christians followed the apostles. They followed the disciples. All right? Christian just means follower of Christ. Christian of Christ. That's all it meant. All right, go back.
You know, it was crazy, too. Like, during the time of Titus, after 70 A.D., he was saying that, the Christians still came from the Jews. So that's 30 years after Christ died, about 30 years after Christ died, and they still knew, like, look, these Christians, they come from the Jews.
Lord, John chapter 8, verse 31. Christ said it himself.
What scripture you
John chapter 8, 31.
Yep.
And mind you, by that time, we read Paul had already written to the Ephesians, Colossians, all these other churches. In 67 A.D., 66 A.D., he was in Rome in prison, and that's when he wrote those. It was supposed that he had wrote those letters to those churches, the Christians that sprung from the Jews.
Right.
John chapter 8 and verse 31. Then said Jesus to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed.
So the disciples were the Jews, although we're
That's right.
Christians, but we're Jews.
Hey, go back. Read it. Read the whole paragraph again, because Titus, obviously, he don't know how we got down, because he thought. Just read it. Read it again. Read it again. Read it again.
There's a famous passage in Sulpicius Severus, 4th century, which most modern scholars consider to have been an extract from a lost book of Tacitus. It is an account of a council of war held after the storming of Jerusalem in AD 70. In this council, Titus, the son and heir of Vespasian, the hero of the great campaign which closed with the fall of Jerusalem, is reported to have expressed the opinion that the temple ought to be destroyed in order that the religion of the Jews and of the Christians might be more completely rooted up.
Right.
For these religions, though opposed to each other, had yet the same origin. The Christians had sprung from the Jews, and when the root was torn up, the stem issuing from the root would easily be destroyed.
Now, hold on. So Titus thought that destroying our temple was going to uproot all of us. But what he didn't know is that, give me 1 Corinthians 3. 1 Corinthians
Bring it out.
chapter 3, verse 16.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
Read it again.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
Once our temple got destroyed, that didn't stop us from following Christ. Now we're the temple of God now. That's what he didn't know. That's what he didn't understand.
That's heavy.
But he thought that destroying our temple was going to destroy all of us. But we understood something.
Paul was prepping us for that.
Paul was
'Cause
prepping
remember,
us
at
for
first
that.
was Christ when he told us, look, this temple, not one stone's going to be on top of another.
Yep, get that.
Not one stone's going to lay on top of the other. And they thought it was blasphemous.
Right.
Like, yo, this guy's saying this. He's going to destroy the temple.
Hey, because you had those of us. Remember, Herod put us to death. Herod put certain of us to death. They was part of the zealots that he put to death because he put the eagle on the temple. He put the eagle on the temple. We wasn't having that. We took that eagle down, and he crucified us for that thing. He executed us for that thing. All right, read that.
You want John 4 or Matthew 24?
Matthew
Matthew
24.
24. Yes,
Yep.
sir. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and the disciples came to him for to shew him the building of the temple.
Right, they like, yo, Christ. Go ahead.
Look
My
how
bad.
beautiful this thing look, man. This
Yo.
thing is splendid.
Yo.
They were excited. Yo, like, look at this. Look at this.
Look what Herod built. Look at the additions that Herod made to the temple. That's bad, right? Go ahead.
And Jesus said unto them,
So now Christ said, yeah, go ahead.
See ye not all these things?
So I understand. I see. Looks nice. Looks real nice. Go ahead.
Verily, I say unto you,
But truly, seriously, I say unto you,
there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
it's going to get destroyed. So don't even get caught up. Don't get caught up with the beauty of it and all that. It's going to get destroyed. All right? So don't even sit here and try to magnify it. Magnify what the additions and all that Herod made and all that. It's no use. It's going to get destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. All right?
You know how excited they were? And then they were expecting a certain response from Christ.
Right.
And Christ was like, man, this thing's nothing. It's going to be destroyed. They're probably like, damn.
Like, yo, let's show him the temple. You know what I mean? So, but the whole point is that Titus thought to do us some hurt by destroying the temple. Let me see. Let me get.
But we were being prepped.
That's what I was looking for, John 4.
We were being prepped all the way from Christ and Paul. Like,
Yep.
look, this temple's going to be destroyed. Like, yeah, there's going to be that transition period because even Paul was going and sacrificing in the temple
Right.
and doing things like that. But that was to win them over. So when that temple falls, like, all right, you got to now have that faith in Christ.
Yeah, that's it. It was all about the faith in Christ, man. That's all it was about. You got John 4 for me?
Yes, sir. John chapter 4 and verse 20. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this temple nor...
Mountain. What you? Oh man,
I didn't say
you wanted temple to be there, didn't you?
God damn.
I said, okay. Verse 21.
Oh, he fighting against it.
Jesus said unto her,
Yeah, his mind.
So I realized, like,
right.
I said, temple mountain. You didn't want me to put temple
Right,
there?
you want
Yo,
me?
listen, that's what it mean in the spirit.
Yo,
verse
man.
21.
Yo, what you reading, the ASV?
Yo, I'm reading the
That he
KJV.
told
That's the
you.
KJV?
The spiritual
Oh,
KJV.
Just
yeah.
learn English, yo. I'm telling you.
KJV.
Yo, you must have paid $20 for that.
Jesus, verse 21. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father.
Oh,
There you
praises.
go. There you go. Read on.
Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship,
Oh, Lord.
for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour
Yo,
cometh.
hold on. The brother came in late. He got good sleep.
For real.
The brother got
beautifully.
good sleep. And your mind still ain't. You still trying to add words, man.
His hair was laid down. He probably had a do-rag on. He's chilling.
Brother got good sleep. He slept in, didn't you? Go ahead, man.
Yes,
come
sir.
on.
Verse 22. Ye worship ye know not what.
Uh-huh.
We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
Read.
But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
There you go. Read on.
Temple gonna be gone.
For the Father seeketh such to worship him.
Right. So Christ was preparing us. He was letting her know she was an Israelite, she of the northern kingdom. He was letting her know the hour is going to come where this temple ain't going to be here no more. And you're going to have to worship the Father in spirit and in truth. All right? That's all he was saying to her. All right? Let's get back to the page.
Yeah, them sacrifices gonna be over. You're gonna have to believe in me as that
Right.
sacrifice.
And we will also have to present our own bodies as a living sacrifice.
Follow me.
Right. Go ahead.
That's what Christianity don't understand today.
Yeah, they don't understand that. I don't think they will.
Nah.
Only 1/3 will get it. All right. Go back to the page. You at the bottom. There's no doubt.
Okay. There is no doubt but that this report of Titus's speech at the Council of War is an historical document of the utmost importance. It tells us exactly what was the feeling of the Imperial Flavian house towards the Christians. They represented an evil which it was well to extirpate.
You see, they said we represented an evil that was well to pretty much expire, get rid of, delete. All right, that's what they wanted to do to us. Read on.
It is possible that in a mutilated passage of Suetonius, a reference occurs to Vespasian's actions at the period in the year following AD 70 in respect to the Christians. The passage runs as follows. Never in the death of anyone did Vespasian take pleasure, and in the case of merited punishments, he even wept and groaned.
Now, that's some confusion. he took pleasure in putting us to death, but at the same time, he wept and groaned for putting us to death. Okay, read it again.
Never in the death of anyone did Vespasian
this hurts me more than it's going to hurt you.
Take pleasure, and in the case of merited punishments, he even wept and groaned.
Read.
This is clearly a reference to some class of individuals whose punishment Vespasian felt bound to accept, while he regretted it. It is inconceivable that Vespasian, a Roman soldier of long experience in the bloody wars of Britain and Judea, wept and groaned at every merited execution. We think of the punishments which by the principle of Nero attached to the Christians. The principle in question continued permanently, and Suetonius alluded to it and on account of the detail. And interesting to a biographer that Vespasian wept while he confirmed its operation.
So he in there crying like he cared.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah.
His cries are lies.
Go down. Let me see if I want anything else. Go down.
Remember, they come out the womb line.
Yeah, they come out the womb line, man. You can't believe that. Read on.
He probably was crying because he couldn't torture us more.
We don't have any more.
Why you die so quick?
He ran out of ideals, yeah.
Ideals.
The brother's always getting on me about ideal and idea. All right, I'm trying to fix it. All right, all praises. Read on.
But a yet more precise statement that persecution was actively continued under Vespasian is to be found in the Latin father Hilary of Poitiers, who ranks...
No. Jump down towards the end of Domitian's reign.
Towards the end of Domitian's reign, circa AD 95, the persecution became more bitter. Indeed, so severely were the Christians hunted out and prosecuted that the period had become memorable in history. Domitian is constantly mentioned as the second great persecutor, Nero being the first. The reason, doubtless, for this general tradition is that in AD 95, persons of the highest rank, some even belonging to the imperial family, were among the condemned, notably Flavius Clemens the counsel, and the two princesses bearing the name of Domitilla, and these being very near relatives of the emperor. The violent outbreak of persecution, fierce and terrible as it seems to have been in the last year and a half of Domitian's reign, does not appear to have been owing to any special movement among the Christian subjects of the empire which aroused attention and suggested distrust, but was solely owing to the emperor's private policy and personal feelings.
You see that? The private policy and personal feelings. What he felt about us. Okay? That caused the violent outbreak. Now we under Domitian. Remember, I'm saying I'm going to just tackle both Titus and Domitian. Titus is pretty much out the picture now. All right? So pretty much we dealing with Domitian at this time. Go ahead.
There is nothing to show that any edict against the sect was promulgated in this reign. Since the time of Nero, the persecution of Christians was a standing matter.
It was a standing matter. Read.
As was that of persons who were habitual lawbreakers, robbers, and such like.
Damn, so they include us in the category with robbers and habitual lawbreakers. It was a crime.
I was like, just like right now in the ADL, they put us next to the KKK and so on.
Bro, same thing.
Same thing.
We third on the list. on the hate group list.
Right, yeah.
Go ahead.
Probably under the princes of the Flavian dynasty was, as we have said, this policy of the government was somewhat developed throughout the empire. And now and again, owing to local circumstances and the disposition of the chief magistrate, was more or less severe. It is said that some governors boasted that they had brought back from their province their lictors, axes unstained with blood, but others were actuated with very different feelings.
Right. So the local governors and so forth, they was persecuting us. All right. They was locking us up. They was sending the cops, raiding, whatever they had to do to come after us. Inquisitions was going on, all of that. Go ahead.
In the case of the so-called Domitian persecution, the ill will of the autocratic emperor naturally intensified it. Various motives seem to have influenced the sovereign lord of the empire here. Domitian was a somber and suspicious tyrant, and no doubt his cruel action in the case of his relatives, the consul Flavius and the princesses of his house.
Hey, hold on one second. Remember. Vespasian is Domitian's father. They destroyed Jerusalem. So you have Vespasian, you have Titus. Vespasian was the emperor. Titus was next in line under Vespasian.
Yeah.
I mean under Titus. I'm sorry. No, I said that backwards. Titus was next in line under Vespasian, and then after Titus died, then Domitian came into power. They all had the same policy. Right. Ain't nothing changed. Remember, he was there when they destroyed our temple. Domitian was there. Remember, they celebrated the gladiatorial games that we in the arena that we built.
It was saying earlier that it started under Nero, but then under Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian, it was developed, meaning they expanded it.
They expanded the policy, just like how they expand. Just like how they expand their foreign policy, they put a lot into it. They were putting a lot into this policy right here.
That reminds me of how when the conquistadors came over here, like you had Columbus and his men, and then his men that were under him became the conquistadors in the mainland here. So they were all under Columbus, and then their men became other, like Francisco Pizarro, Hernan Cortez. You had different men. They were all under Colon, and they became even more cruel. Because of what they learned under Cologne, they did it and they expanded upon it. They developed it even further. So as they kept conquering, they became worse and worse and worse. So they kept that policy going, just like you're reading here.
So they were fueling the policy. They were fueling it, adding more fire to it. All right. So, but going back to what I was saying, remember Vespasian, his sons Titus and Domitian. Remember, they celebrated. They had the gladiatorial games, had us fighting each other, had us going in procession with our belongings in the temple, and they celebrated on their birthdays. They had us fighting each other, killing each other in the arenas that we built on their birthdays. It's the same Domitian. Nothing changed. So that hatred, listen, of course he was going to intensify the policy, because that's the way they always have felt. That's the way he felt. Go ahead, read on.
Word.
You can start at Domitian again.
Okay. Domitian was a somber and suspicious tyrant, and no doubt his cruel action in the case of his relatives, the consul Flavius and the princesses of his house, was prompted by jealousy of those who stood
I'm sorry. Let's bring it up to today. It's no different from Jim Crow, right? Jim Crow, you got Jim Crow laws. Those that's in power that set up the Jim Crow laws back in, when we came out of slavery, Black Code, Jim Crow, their descendants are what? Your judges, your school teachers, your cops, your firefighters. Listen, those are they're still around. They pass that spirit down to their children.
Same lineage.
The same, but they like, oh, I'm not my fathers. I didn't do what they did. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Those that was smiling when we was getting lynched and so forth, where you think they children at?
Wasn't that supposed to be somebody important now that was there?
Where?
What we're seeing in the picture now?
Blow it up? I don't know. What picture is this?
Jerry.
Oh, Jerry Jones.
Yeah, the NFL owner.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Dang.
So it goes to your point, officer. This is a NFL owner And here he was right here, like you said,
Persecuting us.
persecuting us. And then now he become an owner of an NFL team.
Bro, he the owner now.
He the owner. And he got all the little slaves under him.
Can't make this up.
Can't.
That's him right. Damn, that's him right there. Gee, Esau looks the worst, man.
Remember also
Damn!
how
He
they
ain't
had
even
us as
regenerate. That's the
slaves.
same body.
How they had us as slaves.
Say it again.
How they had us as slaves and we would fight each other when you used to like that stuff. Well, now when you bring it up to sports, they had boxing, but they was like, nah, actually I want something bloodier. So they came in with the MMA and so on. If you look at the MMA, it's mainly blacks and Hispanics controlling
Fighting
that
each other.
Yep, that's what it is.
In a cage, bro.
Yep.
In a cage, fighting each other.
And Dana White is actually the one who's the president of the MMA. So it's same thing.
Hey, just like the Malachite that Donald Sterling.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Sterling.
I buy them houses.
He said, I buy them houses. You know, I feed them.
I feed them.
I feed them.
I'm a good man.
I'm a good master. Look, if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have nothing.
Yep.
I provide for them. I'm the one that's nourishing them. Okay? They got to serve me. All right? So, and he's Amalek. All right?
And that was all because he had some chick with him. He told her to stay away from him or something.
Right, right.
Like, don't
Nah,
associate
he said you could do what you want with him. Just don't bring him over to my house or something, he was saying. Or don't bring him to my games or whatever the case was. I forgot. But the whole point is you had those that was hey, give me a picture of a lynching, like a postcard or something, and you see the Edomites smiling.
And the women there too.
And the women, yeah, the women. Don't forget they're women.
Bring it out.
Becky was part of it. Miss Laura.
To your point, officer.
Give me one with Esau around.
The crowd.
There it is.
There's another one with it on a tree.
Blow it up. Look at those in the back, man. Look at the Edomites. Look at my man to the right here with the smile on his face.
They're all well dressed.
Well dressed. Give me another one. Yep. Where you think their descendants at?
That looked like the same setting too as the other one we just looked.
They do. It's dark. Where do you think their descendants is at, man? Like I said, they're your doctors, your judges, your lawyers, your prosecutors today, your school teachers,
Yup.
Your supervisors
your
at work.
supervisors at work. Okay. There was you can take that down. I seen it. I think it was a TikTok or something, but Edomite. She was saying how her father. She was 8 years old. She says she was 8 years old, and her father was giving her a story about what they did to us. So she 8 years old. Her father is, I think her grandfather was sitting down talking to her about how they treated us and what they did to a particular brother. They put him in I think he laughed. He did something, but they got him. What they did to him, they put him. They had they called it a boiling pot or something. They had a name for it. Matter of fact, it was on the Book of Our Fathers. That's right. It was on the Book of Our Fathers. They had a boiling pot. Okay, in that boiling pot, they put the brother. They all gathered around, put the brother inside that boiling pot, man.
Damn.
I forgot what they called it. They had a name for it, but she said her whole point was they try to pass. She said that he tried to pass that spirit, that they teach them that early, try to get them into that spirit. Okay, so that's what her whole point was. At 8 years old, he was telling her that to try to put her in that spirit, put that spirit on them, which is already on them. You know, so they start early, like, yo, they niggers, and this is what we did to one of them, and he was laughing. When he's telling, he was laughing and so forth. All right, so that's how they grow up with that. They pass the hatred down, man. They pass the hatred down. All right.
That's why it says in Isaiah chapter 14, it says, prepare slaughter for the children for the iniquity of the fathers.
Right.
Because the fathers teach the children how to hate the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
That's right. You got to prepare slaughter for the children.
And
all right.
You know what's crazy? They're in these positions of power. For example, the firefighters, there was the house that was burning down 2 doors from me.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed all the firefighters, all the cops, all Esau. Mind you, this is a Jake neighborhood. brings me up to this story that I was thinking about. I forgot. My wife was telling me. I don't know where she got it from, but there was a Edomite firefighter that was working with a Jake firefighter, and towards the end of the Edomite's career, he had apologized to the Jake brother, telling him, look, I'm sorry, when I was coming up, there was a lot of times where black people would be burning in the fire, and I wouldn't save them. I would let them burn and die.
Damn.
So who knows how many other positions, not just firefighters, not just cops, but ambulances where you're expecting them to give you treatment, but yet they're like, you know what, I'm going to let it be. And they died because of the accident or whatever when they could actually survive. So how many times we've been put in those positions and our people have died because we're trusting in a nation that cannot save us. They're in these positions of power, whether it's firefighters, policemen, EMTs, doctors, whatever it may be, our education system.
Right.
And they're not giving us what we need because they hate us. It's a deep-rooted hatred, and they have these laws that could protect them from any malpractice or from any ill intent because it was an accident.
Jeez. So every time they used to show up, they didn't really care about saving our lives. They were more worried about just putting out the fire so it wouldn't spread out just in case to get Edomite living next.
Right. That, or they just see that as a black person, like, I'm not gonna.
That sound like a Negro on the phone.
Damn.
All right, we send somebody out.
With a situation like that, like, seconds count if you're a firefighter.
Absolutely.
So maybe you just take your time, a couple more seconds, or you see something happen and you just wait a couple seconds. All right, that's it. You're not gonna survive. Let me go in there now.
Or like even with the ambulance, you call the ambulance to come. For something they take how long?
Forever.
30
minutes.
I don't even know if they relate a call to the dispatch related call. We don't know.
Probably take their time.
Take their time. Oh, it's in what area? Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, we'll get back to you.
We'll get somebody over there. But even in the movie, and then we gotta get back. We're gonna get back. We sidebar. But hey, get the scripture. Prepare a slaughter for their children.
Yes, sir.
Not now, but when Christ returned, Christ is gonna prepare a slaughter for their children. That's right. For Esau's children.
Say what
14:21.
Isaiah 14:21. Isaiah read that.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
See that? So prepare slaughter for Esau's children, for the iniquity, for the sins of their fathers.
Because they are their fathers.
Because they are their fathers. They are their fathers. There ain't no such thing as, that wasn't me. That didn't happen. I wasn't around at that time. They had nothing to do with me. Nah, you are their fathers. All right? You are their father. Let me see. Do I want you to read up some more? Let me see. 1 second.
There's nothing new under the sun. That's what Ecclesiastes is telling you. The same spirits come back.
Yeah, I was even in Psalms. That's why it says, happy shall he be that rewardeth this. Yeah, right. Happy shall he be that taketh and dashes that little ones against the stones. Like, geez, they need that.
Right. Read verse 21 again, then we'll get back.
Verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Why? Because the fathers possess what? The seed.
Right.
Okay, they possess the seed. Where's the scripture that says the nephew?
Next verse.
Read the next verse.
Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name, and remnant, and son, and nephew.
Men, the males, the male line. Read.
Saith the Lord.
Saith the Lord. Why? Because they pass on their seed. All right? So that's why you got to cut off the male line. That's what they're saying. Prepare slaughter for their fathers.
Officer Don brought up a good point. Let's read Psalms 137. Start at 7 and read down.
Psalms chapter 137 and verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom.
Remember Esau, Edom, the so-called white man today. Remember, O Lord. Why? Keep reading.
And the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, O daughter of Babylon.
Meaning what? That happened during Nebuchadnezzar's time, during the time of Babylon. That happened during the time of Rome with Titus and Vespasian. Read.
Who art to be destroyed.
They're fitted for destruction, like Romans 9 says. Read.
Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
So we're going to reward them. When Christ comes back, they're going to be rewarded the same way we were rewarded during the time of Babylon, during the time of Rome, during the time of the conquest. What were they doing to us that they're going to get the same thing?
Right.
Read.
Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Why? Because that's what they were doing to us. The same people that did it during the conquest during Babylon, during Rome with Titus and Vespasian, during the conquest of the Americas, those are the same people doing the same thing over and over again. So those same people are going to be rewarded the very same way.
Bring it out. That's reparations right there.
That's when Christ comes back. We're not talking about right now.
Yeah,
that's when Christ comes back.
That's when the
Vengeance
Lord
is
steps on-
his.
that's
He's
when-
going to put that spirit on us because right now we don't got that spirit. That spirit is not on
We
us
have
to
that
do
compassion.
Yeah.
Right now, we have that compassion spirit.
We got compassion. We're a simple people.
Right.
We like
We have a
chilling. We
conscience.
like being left alone. We just like living a simple, peaceful life. The Lord is going to have to put his spirit on us for us to get that angry to really do what he wants us what he wants us to do. Because right now, we don't want to really do that. We feel bad. You know, we friggin' even sometimes we don't even want to discipline our own kids. We feel bad about that thing. But in that day, when the Lord come back, it says that even our own children, we're gonna thrust them through if they say anything crazy.
Right. Let's get back. Let's get back to the page. I know we sidebar crazy.
Nah, it's still in line.
Yeah, it's
About how
still-
they hate us.
Yo, just from that one passage. Just from that one passage, we went off. All right. Still on the same topic though. All right.
So,
Where
the
was
violent
that?
outbreak?
Nah, we read that. We read all of that. In the case, let me see. Go down. Yeah, in the case. I think we there. Yep.
In the case of the so-called Domitian.
Nah. Domitian was a somber.
Okay. Oh yeah, we read. Oh yeah.
Like in the
Okay.
middle. We learned from the pagan writer.
We learned from the pagan writer Dion Cassius in the epitome of his work by the monk Xiphilin, and also from Suetonius, that he put to death various persons of high position, notably Acilius Glabrio, who had been consul in AD 91.
Next page.
This Acilius Glabrio was also a Christian.
Jake, he was a Christian. Okay, go ahead.
The researches and discoveries of De Rossi and Marucci in the older portion of the vast catacomb of S. Priscilla have conclusively proved this. There was another reason, however, for Domitian's special hatred of the Christian sect. The emperor was a vigilant censor and an austere guardian of the ancient Roman traditions.
So he was all about their religion. He was all about their gods. And if anything, if you came against their gods, or if you didn't want to have anything to do with their gods, you was against Rome. Read it again.
There was another reason, however, for Domitian's special hatred of the Christian sect.
Remember, he said, go back to the last page. Go back to the page previous. What he said. The violent outbreak. Go up. Remember, it says the violent outbreak.
The violent outbreak of persecution, fierce and terrible as it seems to have been in the last year and a half of Domitian's reign, does not appear to have been owing to any special movement among the Christian subjects of the empire which aroused attention and suggested distrust, but was solely owing to the emperor's private policy and personal feelings.
Now go back to the next page. It was all about his personal feelings.
There was another reason, however, for Domitian's special hatred of the Christian sect.
His personal feelings. Go ahead.
The emperor was a vigilant censor and an austere guardian of the ancient Roman traditions.
What it means, he was a vigilant censor. He made sacrifices. He also he made sacrifices to their gods. He was vigilant at doing that thing. He was on point with that thing. He didn't miss a day to make sacrifices to their gods. Go ahead.
In this respect,
And it said he was an austere guardian of their gods. Read.
In this respect, he has with some justice been cited as pursuing the same policy as did his great predecessor Augustus. And like him, he looked on the imperial cultus as part of the state religion.
You see that? The imperial cultus, the imperial cult. Go down. You see the footnote 1. Go down to the bottom. Right here.
Domitian loved to be identified with Jupiter
Zeus, read.
and to be idolized as the divine providence in human form.
You see that? They want to be what they call the God King. Read.
And it is recorded that Caligula, Domitian, and Diocletian were the three emperors who delighted to be styled Dominus et Deus.
Zeus, right? Deus, pretty much. All right. So that's what they want to be called. They want to be called Jupiter. They identified themselves with Zeus, which was their god, and they wanted to be idolized as a divine providence in human form. Okay. What was that?
What the hell was that?
What was that, man?
We'll figure that out later.
Yo, when we go to break, we about to have a mean search going on. What was?
I hope it's a mean search.
Yo, ain't nobody saying nothing. Everybody looking around. It was just on the mic. Like, what happened?
That's all crazy.
That's how, bro. That's how. Ain't nobody saying nothing. All right, yo, go back up. Go back up, man. We got a call.
Thinking it would be asking what was that too.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that?
Same question.
Yo. Oh, all right. Read that again, bro. Read it from The Emperor Was Vigilant.
The emperor was a vigilant censor and an austere guardian of the ancient Roman traditions.
Mm-hmm.
In this respect, he has with some justice been cited as pursuing the same policy as did his great predecessor Augustus. And, like him, he looked on the imperial cultus as part of the state religion. Domitian felt that these ancient traditions which formed a part of Roman life were comprised by the teaching and practices of the Christian sect.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt, this was one of the principal reasons which influenced him in his active persecution of the followers of Jesus.
He looked at himself as a God King, and now he wanted pretty much how in the book of Daniel, how they set up that image.
Yep.
And he wanted everybody to worship. Same thing here. That's what they wanted us to look on them as being a god. They want us to worship them. So with this going on with us, it's pretty much treason. That's what it was. It was treason.
We were reading that a couple of classes ago, how the state laws were considered the imperial cult.
Yep.
And if we went against their teachings as far as their gods, it was considered treason.
Yep.
Because their gods and their beliefs were part of their
policies
their
and so forth.
imperial reign. Yep, exactly.
The same thing happened with Antiochus. He said, "Yo, let's all be one
Democracy.
one people." Yeah, democracy.
Let's all be one people.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Read on. Let me see. Where we at? Read on.
But although he struck at some of the noblest and most highly placed in the empire, especially, as it seems, those suspected of being members of the hated sect, he appears to have vented his fury also upon many who belong to the lower classes of the citizens.
Read.
Juvenal, in a striking passage, evidently alludes to his pursuit of these comparatively unknown and obscure ones, and traces the unpopularity which eventually led to his assassination to this persecution of the poor, nameless citizen.
Next page.
Domitian was assassinated in AD 96 and was succeeded by the good and gentle Emperor Nerva.
So Nerva, we'll get into him next. All right, go ahead.
The active and bitter persecution which Domitian carried on in the latter years of his reign, as far as we know, ceased, and once more the Christian sect was left in comparative quiet. That is to say, they were still in the position of outlaws.
So we were still considered outlaws under Domitian. Read.
The sword of persecution ever hanging over their heads. The law which forbade their very existence was there. If anyone was disposed to call it into action, the passion of the populace, the bigotry of a magistrate, or the malice of some responsible personage might at any moment awake the slumbering law into activity. These various malicious influences, ever ready, were constantly setting the law in motion. This we certainly gather from Pliny's reference to the cognitions or inquiries into accusations set on foot against Christians in his famous letter to the Emperor Trajan.
We're gonna get that. The letter between Pliny and the Emperor Trajan. All right, we're gonna deal with that. Not today, but we will eventually get to the letter between the two. All right. So now, listen, we're going to take a short break. We're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be back. All right? We'll be back. You can call us at 267-702-6121. You can call us at 267 or text us at 267-702-6121. All right? We'll be back after the break.
To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. So the same mission the disciples had is our mission today. Our mission is unlike any other mission throughout the world. I want everybody to understand that. Okay? There's no group on earth who has undertaken the true mission of the disciples of Christ to resurrect and gather the 12 tribes of Israel which have been scattered abroad. You may call it the diaspora today. The Bible uses other words, the scattered. Okay? But it's the same thing. Our people who suffered during the time of colonialization, forced migration, sub-Saharan slave trade, transatlantic slave trade, and it seems like our people have been forgotten about. But you are not forgotten.
Get it and go, the game in trouble, everything that you know, it came with a struggle, we shine like gold, I came from nothing, the weight of the world, and we ain't pulling muscle, we ain't pulling muscle, and we ain't pulling muscle, the weight of the world, we ain't pulling muscle, and we ain't pulling muscle, we get it and go, the game in trouble, everything that you know, it came with a struggle, we shine like gold, I came from nothing, the weight of the world, and we ain't pulling muscle.
There will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. Then the black man will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men.
And shall set up an ensign for the nations. The word Gentiles means nations. And shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
sole purpose for coming out here is to gather the elect of our brothers and sisters scattered in the diaspora.
King Solomon was the son of King David. Jesus Christ come from that bloodline. So Jesus Christ is not a white man. Jesus Christ is a black man.
Those brokenhearted, read on, from what? To preach deliverance to the captives. Read on. And recovering of sight to the blind. Recovering the sight to the blind, those that have been blinded through religion. Because religion teaches us everything outside of the Bible.
Exploitation en Ecuador, Venezuela, Colombia, Sudamérica, Chile, Argentina, México, Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, todos donde están las 12 tribus.
Jesus, João Pintadeu, a cabeça deu, a cabeça.
Now we are lost sheep. We have to go back. We should encourage ourselves that we are Israelites.
And this is what we do from island to island, state to state, country to country. This is our mission.
Fly through the air terrors, I had to fulfill my purpose. To shake the whole earth with a boom when I hit the surface. They trembling nervous, they know I'm coming for certain. To murder all these niggas, devour all of these serpents. I patiently waited to turn up with fervent heat. Now that I'm activated, I'ma blow cause it's World War III. I hear you weeping, you're mourning, your nationality. Hiroshima and Nagasaki ain't got nothing on me. I was raised by chemists, I was made for the judgment. Don't be testing my limits, don't be pushing my buttons. In the Bible they call me flame and rebuke, and you know that that's the truth. But my homies call me nuke, I was sent here to destroy pleasures of sin. In the day of darkness, even darker than when the day began. Annihilation, no time for a battle.
I mean, what I just witnessed, it was pretty powerful. Black men, like that discipline.
When you form like I just seen, it sends a strong message.
Because I know it's hard for us to even visualize this. We have never seen a movie, a comic where we've done great things. We gotta visualize it. We gotta show it. Because it's written in the Bible.
Isaiah 40 and 31.
Watch this.
But they that wait upon the Lord.
And here is the patience and faith of the saints. They that wait upon the Lord
shall renew their strength.
Shall renew their strength.
They shall mount up with wings as eagles.
And shall mount to what you think that means? Have you ever seen a man fly? Israel united in Christ, from corners to countries, gathering the 12 tribes of Israel. We gonna take the world.
Hey, Most High in Christ, bless Israel, Bishop of that. Yeah, some of you call me the general, and I appreciate that term, but today we're going to find out if I'm a true general or not.
في متى 28 أمر المسيح بالتأديب اذهبوا إلى كل الأمم وعمدوهم باسم الآب والابن والروح القدس وعلمهم أن ينتبهوا بغض النظر عما أوصيك بفعله كما نعلم فإن 12 قبيلة من إسرائيل كما قال يعقوب 1:1 منتشرة في جميع أنحاء العالم جميع البلدان من تجارة الرقيق جنوب الصحراء الكبرى إلى تجارة الرقيق عبر المحيط الأطلسي. حسنا، سنتعامل مع ذلك. Das Evangelium wurde überall gepredigt, doch es gibt noch viel zu tun. Okay, hinzu. Korintherbrief Kapitel 10, rund um Vers 16. Ich glaube, Paulus hat gesagt, man solle das Evangelium in Regionen jenseits seiner selbst predigen und sich nicht mit der Arbeit anderer Männer rühmen. Wir wollen nicht damit prahlen, dass kein anderes Lager so hoch arbeitet, dass wir auf eine Mission berufen werden. Wir müssen diese Mission erfüllen. Ik heb je nodig, dapper en gedurfd nodig, diakenen, kapiteins, officieren, soldaten om op te staan en jezelf waardig te tonen voor deze waarheid. Oké, dus wat ik kan doen, ik kan je iets laten zien. Yoku kite, kono chizu o miseru. Kanada ni wa ikutsuka no gako arimasu. Amerika no itaru tokoro ni mo aru. Takaki kami ni kanshashimasu. Tsugi wa mekishiko ni hairu. No tenemos ninguna base todavía aquí. Entiende, no tenemos fundamento. Tenemos enseñanzas, pero ningún fundamento. El Altísimo nos acaba de permitir abrir una escuela aquí en Ecuador. Pero escucha, mira, no tenemos fundamento en estas áreas. Está bien, tenemos algunas enseñanzas, pero ningún fundamento. Sin fundamento, necesitamos llegar a toda Argentina y Chile. Tuna shule kadha katika bara la Afrika kutoa sifa zote kadriwe walio juu zaidi kadriwe hilo shule kadha tunazo hapa, lakini hiyo haitoshi. Tunahitaji shule nyingi zaidi za ukweli wa Injili inayofundishwa sawa. Tunahitaji kugonga maeneo haya Madagascar hata Zambia, Angola sawa. Ndio tunaanza msingi hapa Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Congo. D'accord, nous n'avons rien. Oh, nous aussi nous avons l'Europe. Pas encore de fondation en Espagne, une petite école France. L'Allemagne nous en faut plus. Il y a plus de travail à faire, plus de travail à faire. Eka, आणि या भागात कोणतीही मूलभूत शिकवण नाही. जेव्हा मी पाया म्हणतो, तेव्हा मला शाळा म्हणतात. मी एक माणूस एक संपूर्ण गेला याचा अर्थ असा नाही इकडे क्षेत्र आणि बाकी काहीतरी शिकवले. मी बोलत आहे की कोणताही पाया नाही, या प्रदेशात सुवार्ता शिकवली जात आहे.
म्हणून आम्हाला आवश्यक आहे तेथे सत्य शिकवायचे. ठीक आहे. अगदी ऑस्ट्रेलिया. आमचे काही लोक इथे आहेत ऑस्ट्रेलियामध्ये. ठीक आहे. न्यूगिनी, इंडोनेशिया, सुमात्रा, व्हिएतनाम. ठीक आहे. या प्रदेशामध्ये आहेत इस्रायली पाया नाही. सत्य सुवार्ता शिकवली पाहिजे की आपल्या लोकांना या प्रदेशात विखुरलेले आहेत.
Está bem, a partir do momento do comércio subsaariano de escravos. Compreende isso. Compreende isso, Israel. Compreende isto. Muito trabalho a fazer. Muito trabalho a fazer. Allora Israele, ho bisogno di alcuni volontari. Ho bisogno che alcuni di voi uomini potenti si alzino in piedi. Diaconi, capitani, ufficiali, soldati, alzatevi. Ho bisogno di volontari per questa missione.
Shalom, brothers and sisters, Most High in Christ bless. We want to thank you all for following Isaiah 11 ministry. We're here to inform you that the local Sabbath classes will now be available in all languages. All of the classes from the bishops, deacons, and captains will now be available in all languages. As it says in Isaiah chapter 11 verse 12, says that the Most High shall set up an ensign for the people. Stay tuned. Most High in Christ bless you all.
Hold up, we're coming up. Righteous woman covered up. We honest, stay modest. We persevere for the promise. Put it in work. Helping our brothers and helping the church. Put it in work. Helping our sisters come out of the dirt. The other nations, they tryna do what we do. The devils take us where the children of the book. The other nations, they tryna do what we do. Black is beautiful and they know that's not true.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Most High Christ bless. This is Captain Hananiah from IUIC Los Angeles, out here in Kumasi, Ghana, building the minds of our people and bringing them back to the Lord in righteousness. You got a lot of people who just went to church and they got dead spirits, and we doing things they're not doing. We cleaning up the community. We fixing the gutters. We filling the potholes in. We working hard out here to let our people understand that only way it's going to get done is through us. We can't rely or wait on another nation to do the work for us.
Hey, shalom. We back from the break. All praise, all praise, all praise. So listen, I want to get give me history of the Christian church real quick. History of the Christian church, page 115. We're just gonna get some more on the reign of Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. All right, we're gonna get some more on their reign and what they and how they treated us and so forth. History of the Christian church. Start at we may also remark.
All right, that bottom there. Yep. We may also remark that by these terrible...
Wait, go read the accession of Vespasian.
Down.
Yep.
The accession of Vespasian to the imperial dignity, connected with the termination of the Jewish war by the arms of his son Titus, happily restored tranquility and peace to the world. He reigned 10 years, much to the happiness of his subjects.
Wait. Read that from the top. Read it from the top.
The accession of Vespasian to the imperial dignity.
So the accession of Vespasian to the imperial dignity, to emperor. Read.
Connected with the termination of the Jewish war.
To the destruction of our city, our temple, of our people. Read.
By his son.
No.
By the arms of his son, Titus.
By the arms of his son, Titus. Read.
Happily restored tranquility and peace to the world.
You see that? Do you see this? By the accession of Vespasian to the imperial dignity as being emperor, and the destruction of our land by his son Titus brought peace back to the world.
Damn.
Can't make this up. They hate us this much, man. That our destruction brought peace back to the world.
Yeah, Haman was saying the same thing.
Get that. Let's get that.
Artaxerxes.
Haman said the same. This is what Haman wanted. This is what Haman wanted. He wanted to destroy us to bring peace back to the world.
And Esther.
According to him. Esther edition. Yeah. Chapter 13 and 4.
Okay. Esther, chapter 13 and verse 4. Declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there were scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations.
There's a hate group. That's what malicious translate to. There's a certain hate group amongst us. Go ahead.
That had laws contrary to all nations. And continually despised the commandments of kings.
And continually despise decrees, mandates, policies. They go against all of that. Go ahead.
So as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward.
You see that? So he wanted to unite all of the kingdoms. So his whole plan was to unite everybody. But with us there, he knew it couldn't happen. So read on.
Seeing then, we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men.
You see that? So he was saying that us alone, we're in continuous in opposition to all men. Go ahead.
Differing in the strange manner of their laws. And evil affected to our state.
You see that? And evil affected to their state.
Can't be no peace to the world.
It can't be no peace to the world with these people around. We got to get rid of them. Let's create jabs. Let's create viruses. Let's create population control. All these types of
food deserts.
Food deserts. Zoonosis. The gain of function program. All of these things is to do what? Is to get rid of us.
School to prison pipeline.
The school to prison pipeline.
Drugs in the community.
Right, yep, drugs in the community, all of that.
Music.
Man, hold on. Somebody say something. Y'all talk. I gotta grab something real quick.
Could you go to Genesis chapter 27, verse 42? Because it goes back to their forefathers, Esau. In order for them to have happiness and tranquility, this is what their forefather felt.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 42, you said?
Yep.
Verse 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee.
So the only way they can find comfort and happiness is by killing the children of Esau, the children of Israel. As long as Esau is alive and well, they're going to want to kill us as a people. Yeah, I know I said children of Esau, my bad.
Yeah, I was like, I don't understand what was happening.
Children of Israel.
Like, damn, this brother think he Esau.
Hey, obviously, Akeem, like you were saying, that's how you know when he said he was groaning when he was persecuted. It's like you said, that's BS.
That's BS.
Because they
man.
get
That's
comfort
full
in
of
that
lies,
thing.
though. He was groaning because he couldn't torture us longer.
Right.
That's right.
Like, why you dying so fast?
Right.
Now that goes into Micah 2 and 1. Micah 2 and 1, how they plot and having these think tanks.
Come on, man.
I'm watching that TikTok, man. Come on.
You know you can't mess up around us, man.
Well, he's talking about them think tanks on how pretty much to destroy us. So everything that they set in place, they be thinking about it. They go sleep and think about that stuff.
Look, how was Vespasian or Titus feeling so bad, groaning and crying, but yet he kept on killing.
Doing it.
Kept on killing. They even say, yo, let's destroy their temple, to destroy what connects them, to uproot them, to root them out. That's not somebody who feels bad.
No.
They had a council and they were talking about that. That's not somebody who feels bad. That's just for sympathy points.
Yeah, he wanted the people.
Yeah. Oh, the white man's crying. He was good. Yeah, after killing millions of us.
Right. Hey, pull that page up. Both pages, 72, and this is the book West African and Countries and Peoples. All right. The leadership bishop brought this book out numerous of times. Are you able to cut off that bottom? Yeah, cut that off for me. People see when your phone died. Forgot that.
They'll find you.
Yeah. Cut that off for me. Yep. And go back to that first one.
They still got some juice left.
Yeah. That's old. That's old. Yep, first page. So just backing off of what we just read and what the officers were saying. Watch this.
Where you on
the bottom. But the House of Commons.
But the House of Commons committee seems to have come to this determination from the great mortality amongst Europeans in the African colonies.
So he relates that a lot of Esau was dying when they was trying to colonize Africa, right? They were dying when they was coming over there. Read.
The yearly death rate is so great that it could not contemplate the continuance of such slaughter. In fact, tropical Africa must be left eventually for the Africans.
So tropical, meaning Israelites, tropical Africa must be left for us. They can't live over there. They can't take the heat. They can't take the sun. Go ahead.
In America, in the Polynesian Islands, and in New Zealand and Australia, where civilized nations have settled, the aboriginal inhabitants become quickly exterminated. They die off. They cannot become amalgamated either in social character or in civilized economy.
Right. They can't use another nation to bring their nation back. Go ahead.
The presence of the one is antagonistic to the presence of the other.
Now watch this.
The less powerful, therefore, recedes to a more quiet and undisturbed spot.
So the less powerful of the nations, therefore, recedes to a more quiet and undisturbed spot. Go ahead.
Exposure, the want of proper food, perpetual fear of the stranger, and periodical outbursts against one another operate immensely to increase the annihilating effect.
So that is part of the annihilating. Go back. Read it again.
That sounds like us.
This is the annihilating effect that Esau uses on us.
Exposure.
Exposure.
The want of proper food.
The lack of proper food. You'll see how this plays a part today. Read.
Perpetual fear of the stranger.
Sorry, but this book was written 1860. Right? 1868. Go ahead.
Exposure, the want of proper food.
Uh-huh.
Perpetual fear of the stranger.
So they try to put us in perpetual fear of the stranger, of another nation. Go ahead.
And periodical outbursts against one another.
Fighting one another, killing one another, destroying one another, blood touching blood, black on black crime. Read.
Operate immensely to increase the annihilating effect.
This is the annihilating effect. This is what they called it. Read.
Until, in course of time, the prior existence in the country of the aboriginal inhabitants is known only as a matter of historical fact.
So it's known only as a matter of historical fact that thing works. The annihilating effect, right? Go ahead.
But it is not and cannot be so in Africa with the African race.
But that annihilating effect, it don't work on us like that. That's what he's saying. He said it cannot be so with the African race. Now, it's working now. It's working now, but at that time when they was going over to get us from Africa, when they was bringing us over here as slaves and so forth, that's the annihilating effect that they were perpetrating against us. Go ahead.
European nations have tried the exterminating effect on a grander and more general scale. They have bereft Africa of millions upon millions of its inhabitants by deportation.
See that? Go ahead.
To obtain these, they encouraged a suicidal, exterminating warfare among the different chiefs, by which a tenfold number were destroyed.
Read.
They employed for centuries the most crushing means to carry out their ends, and yet the race still stands and upholds its head.
You see that? They can't get rid of us, man.
Bring it out.
They can't get rid of us. They're trying their hardest to, with this annihilating effect, trying to exterminate us, to get rid of us. Population control, bringing out these different viruses and so forth. They doing whatever they can to off us, giving us the lack of nutrients through the proper foods that we should have. Okay, they're trying whatever they could do to get rid of us. Everything is an attack on the Israelite. Everything. Go ahead.
These means have done much to lessen the population, to degrade them among the nations, to increase the desire for the abominable slave trade, and to have a most vilifying effect on their political and economical existence as nations. But they have not been and cannot be destroyed or exterminated.
You see that? We don't die, we multiply.
That's right.
Hey, but watch this about Esau, though. Read on.
A European race may exist for a short time in any part of Africa.
See, this is right here what they don't tell you. Watch this.
But ultimately, in tropical Africa, the reverse of what we find in Australia and New Zealand happens to them. And in the course...
He said the European race may exist for a short time in any part of Africa. For a short time, they can uphold themselves in Africa, right? Read on.
Ultimately, in tropical Africa, the reverse of what we find in Australia and New Zealand happens to them. And in the course of a very short space of time, they die out.
So Esau dies out. And when they come to Africa, they die out. Read.
Leaving their places to be filled up by new immigrants, who also within an incredibly short period share the same fate.
So they share. That's why the Portugal came in. No, Spain came in. Portugal. Then you had Britain, the French. They all came because they was all Portugal and it was dying out. Yep. so they all started coming in one after another. But the same effect was happening to all of them. Go ahead.
Whilst the aboriginal inhabitants increase and multiply.
While we increase and multiply, read.
The European race diminish and are ultimately annihilated.
You see that? Read.
Their offspring suffer seriously from birth to manhood from internal diseases. The result of miasmatic and climactic influences. And they must either be amalgamated with the white or black race, or they die out in about the second generation.
So they try to mix in with us to keep their race going.
What's that comedian?
I don't know.
That he's mixed with Esau and down in South Africa.
Oh, Noah.
Noah, yeah. Trevor Noah.
Yes.
Trevor Noah, yeah. His dad is a South African.
Yes.
Edomite. He got his mom is an actual African, a black woman. So his dad's white and his mom's black, and you got Trevor Noah. So they try to do that thing in order to keep their race going. Yep.
They know they need us. Yeah. So hold on. You know how they said the white man got the powerful penis. He's the all powerful.
But they die off.
They die off in the second generation though, and they need us to keep their race going. They can't do it alone.
I was saying that's why in Europe they actually pay them to have
babies. Yeah, especially Germany.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of incentives for them to have big families and babies because they don't want to die out. And I think in South Africa, the white population is very small. It's not even that big. But they control the majority of the stuff over there.
So you saying our sisters that get in these interracial relationships is really a strategig ploy.
To kill themselves off.
Yeah, it's a strategic ploy.
To keep their race, to bring their race. So read on.
Where are we at? Where I leave? Oh, well, what's the Aboriginal inhabitants?
In the tropical countries.
In the tropical countries of Western Africa, the idea of a permanent occupation by European settlers, if ever entertained, is impossible of realization.
They can't stay there. It ain't for them. They don't have the melanin to be there.
Bring it out.
All right? They can't do it. Go ahead.
It is a mistake and a delusion. Again, we find that wherever the African race has been carried to...
Hold on, but wherever the Israelite has been carried to, read.
Except, perhaps, the East Indies, they increase.
We do what?
They increase.
We increase, read.
No matter under what depressing and burdensome yoke they may suffer.
Whatever, no matter what we may suffer, we still increase. That sound familiar? In the Exodus, when we was in Egypt. They say, yo.
They live.
Right. Exodus 1. Man, we sidebarring again, y'all.
All praises.
He said all praises.
The scriptures, man.
1 and 8.
Yep. Straight to the point.
Exodus chapter 1 and verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Verse 17. You want 17?
Yes.
Yes. Verse 17. Where do you want to start at?
Verse 12.
Nah, man. I want verse 7. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty. And the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
The more they afflicted us, the more we're going to increase, the more we're going to multiply.
Right.
All right.
Keep reading.
Yeah, keep on reading.
They increase no matter under what depressing and burdensome yoke they may suffer, from which it may be safely inferred that the African people is a permanent and enduring people.
We ain't going nowhere. This earth belongs to us.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And the fancies of those who had determined their destruction will go in the same
read it slow. Read it slow. Read it slow.
And the fancies of those who had determined their destruction.
Esau, the Arabs. So you got the so-called white man, you got the Arabs, okay?
Will go.
China, all of them, all these nations. Read.
And the fancies of those who had determined their destruction will go in the same limbo as the now almost defunct American slavery.
They're gonna receive what they did to us.
Revelation chapter 13.
Read it. What they did to us, they're gonna get the same. That's what he's mean. They're gonna go into the same limbo as the now almost defunct American slavery.
There's a document I was reading when the World Health Organization was first started, where they said like they have to keep the world at a certain level of peace, because if not, they're gonna be slaves.
Damn. The world. That's what they said.
The World Health Organization.
They know
the founding when they first started. I think in the 60s or 50s, somewhere around there.
Hey, I was reading this page. I was reading this one book called The Negro Family, and it shows how they kept Judah down, like bad, like for fear that we gonna rise up. They kept Judah. Out of all the tribes, they said Judah was the one that they kept. They really destroyed because of fear, and they said it was the man. They didn't want the man. They said the woman wasn't a threat. They said they wasn't worried about the female. It was the male that they was worried about. Yep. All right, drop that. Go back to. Let's go back. I know we sidebar for good reasons. I don't even know why we went. I don't even know why we went all the way there.
The spirit.
Yeah, right. I know why.
The accession.
Nah, don't start back all the way. Yeah, you can go there. Go ahead.
The accession of Vespasian to the imperial dignity connected with the termination of the Jewish war.
That's why we stem from here. The termination of the Jewish war. Go ahead.
By the arms of his son Titus, happily restored tranquility and peace to the world.
Right. So we went all the way there to show you that in order to have peace on the earth for them, they got to get rid of us. That's why we went there. They need to destroy us in order for them to have peace on the world, to be at some type of peace and
Tranquility,
tranquility, to have their new world order, so to speak, for it to work. Go ahead.
He reigned 10 years, much to the happiness of his subjects, and was succeeded in the throne by his son, who, though rather unpopular at the commencement of his reign, nevertheless conducted himself in such a manner as to acquire the greatest reputation of any of the Roman emperors.
Mm-hmm.
During all this period, the churches enjoyed a state of outward peace, and the gospel was everywhere crowned with success. To the inexpressible grief of his subjects, however, at the age of 41, and after a short reign of 2 years, 10 months, and 20 days, Titus was snatched away, having, as was suspected, been poisoned by his own brother Domitian, who succeeded to the throne in the year 81.
Right, who succeeded to the throne in the year 81. He only reigned 2 years. Go ahead.
Domitian, in his temper and disposition, inherited all the savage cruelty of the monster Nero.
So he was the same as Nero. Go ahead.
Yet he spared the Christians, what does that say?
In a considerable
degree until about the year 95, when several were put to death and others banished on account of their religion, both in Rome and throughout all the provinces.
Mm-hmm.
Among those put to death was his own cousin and colleague in the consulship, Fabius Clemens. And among the banished, the wife and niece of the latter, both named Flaviae Domitilla.
Mm-hmm.
And this time,
at this
time, the Apostle John was banished to the island of Patmos,
Mm-hmm.
from whence he wrote his epistles to the 7 churches in Asia.
Read.
He is.
So, John, we're going to get into that. We'll deal with Patmos. I don't think we'll do it this show, but Lord's will, life lasts. The next show, we'll deal with John and Patmos and all of that. But right now, we're dealing with Domitian and where that banishment of John came from. Go ahead.
He is said to have survived the persecution of Domitian, though it is uncertain how long, and to have died at Ephesus in the reign of Nerva or Trajan, at which city he was buried.
So that's talking about John. Go ahead. We'll deal with that in depth. Life lasts next show. Go ahead.
The crime alleged against the Christians at this period.
So the crime that was alleged against us, the allegations that was against us at this time, read.
And
at the time of the banishment of John and others, okay, at the confiscation of goods and so forth, property. Go ahead.
And which drew down upon them the cruel hand of persecution was that of atheism.
Was that a what?
Atheism.
Atheism. Why? Because we didn't want to follow their gods. So we were termed atheists.
If we don't believe in their God, we don't believe in
We don't believe in nothing.
Nope.
All right. Remember, we read that in the last book. We just cross-referencing the books. This is what was going on, man. Okay? So he termed us atheists. We were enemies of the state. Okay? Go ahead.
Was that of atheism, by which is to be understood that they refused to throw a grain of incense on the altars of the heathen deities.
You see that? We didn't want to sacrifice to their deities, man. Okay? So we were termed atheists for that reason. Go ahead, read.
The storm, however, was of short duration, for both Eusebius and Tertullian inform us that Domitian revoked the edict which he had issued against the Christians and recalled from banishment those who had been driven away, having caused the earth to groan under his cruelties and excesses. He was at length assassinated in the 16th year of his reign and was succeeded in the empire by Nerva.
All right, stop. So we'll get into him later on. All right. Hey, give me, let's see what else Domitian, how far he went. Get me Eusebius, page 90.
So Nero really popped it off, and then they just kept going.
Yeah, he popped it off.
It.
Because when you look at it, as we've been going through the show, these episodes, the other emperors it really didn't go down like that until Nero. I mean, you had Caligula and all of those they were all Tiberius. They all like persecuted us. Augustus, he was like, no, Julius Caesar was like Kennedy to us at that time. You know what I'm saying? That's how we felt about him. He was like Kennedy or something like that.
We were under the radar during those emperors. But under Nero, that's when the spotlight got put on us. Like, yo, this is a real, this is what's it? They called it an empire within the empire. So, like, that's when they took notice, like, yo, this is a lot bigger than we thought. So that's when under Nero, they really started persecuting us. And then the succeeding emperors really added on and developed those policies.
Hey, remember they said it was 30 years. In the same book, they said it was 30 years before notoriety hit us. So that means the truth was being pushed 30 years after the death of Christ before we were put on notoriety in 64 AD. Okay, so it was 30. So from the death of Christ up to 64 AD was 30 years. This gospel was being pushed unnoticed.
That's why I set them in order before that phase. And that's us right now. And the leadership been saying, like, look, it's going to turn up. Right now we're under the radar. They're not really seeing the severity of what we're actually doing, but it's going to get to a point where it's going to turn up from one moment to the next, and it's just from there on.
It's something that's going to put us in, like, great notoriety.
It's gonna be a false flag or something.
Yeah, it's going to be something that's going to pop off to put us in a great notoriety to the point they're like, yo, we got to stop them. We got to get rid of them. We got to do something now. All right? So, hey, we got to prepare our spirits. We got to build our spirits up for it. It's coming, man. It's coming. All right? We see it happening to our forefathers. Look, likewise today. All right? Go down to the bottom. The persecution of the Christians under Domitian. Read that.
The persecution of the Christians under Domitian. Domitian, indeed, having exercised his cruelty against many, and unjustly slain no small number of noble and illustrious men at Rome, and having, without cause, punished vast numbers of honorable men with exile and the confiscation of their property.
You see that? John was one of those. You had John. John was he was one of those that was banished, but you had others of the disciples and so forth that also was banished and had confiscation of their property. Hey, isn't that confiscation of the goods? You know what that's at?
2 Ezra 16?
Nah. No, it's in Corinthians. Somewhere. Confiscation of goods. Say we took joy in it. The confiscation of our goods, we took joy in that.
Yes, I think you're talking about Hebrews 10 and 34.
Yes, read that.
Yes, sir. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 34.
Read.
For ye had compassion on me in my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods.
You see that? And we took joyfully the spoiling of our goods. Look, we was built up at this time. That's why. How else you gonna take joyfully the spoiling of your goods? Our spirits was built up at this time, to the point that when we understood when our property was being confiscated and our goods and our possessions and assets, we understood that this is of the Lord. Okay, we understood that this is what we longed for. This is what we wanted. We was happy to be persecuted. It's like we was happy to be put to death. Okay, go ahead.
Knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and enduring substance.
That's what we understood. We understood life after death. Life after death. That's what we knew about. All right, go ahead. Now go back to the page.
That's what Deacon Malachi was just talking about.
That's what Deacon Malachi was bringing out.
Bring it out.
And having without cause punished vast numbers of honorable men with exile and the confiscation of their property, at length established himself as the successor of Nero in his hatred and hostility to God.
Damn. Go ahead.
He was the second that raised a persecution against us, although his father Vespasian had attempted nothing to our prejudice.
They already done destroyed us, our city and temple. Okay, remember they said that brought peace to the world after that.
Said the streets ran with our blood.
Right.
Streams of blood in the streets.
All right. Do I want this on John right now? Go down. We'll come back to that. Give me Domitian commands the posterity of David to be slain. That's what I want.
Domitian commands the posterity of David to be slain.
So Domitian was looking. This is how crazy his anger went towards us. He wanted the prosperity. He wanted the descendants of the line of David to be killed. Watch this.
But when
remember Vespasian did the same thing. Domitian just carrying it on.
He sent the nobles, the ones that descend from the royal line, over to Rome the destruction of Jerusalem.
Domitian said, man, forget that. I'm trying to kill him. I want to kill off the royal line. Because, you know, as emperor, they think, they like, yo, they're going to try to rise up. Right? Go ahead.
But when the same Domitian had issued his orders that the descendants of David should be slain according to an ancient tradition, some of the heretics accused the descendants of Judas as the brother of our Savior according to the flesh, because they were of the family of David, and as such also were related to Christ.
So you had certain heretics of that's us. We knew where to go and find Judas and them. So they knew where the family was. Remember, everybody knew each other. Okay? We all knew each other. So they knew where the family of Judas was. Go ahead.
This is declared by Hegesippus as follows. So you got traitors, basically.
Yeah, traitors.
Snitching, like, yo, he's over there.
Right.
Christ's brother's over there. His family's over there.
All right, bring them to me. So the line of David, bring them to me. All of them. Go ahead.
Of the relatives of the Lord. There were yet living of the family of our Lord the grandchildren of Judas, called the brother of our Lord, according to the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
These were reported as being of the family of David, and were brought to Domitian by the Evocatus for...
Hey, look up Evocatus. I don't know who that is.
I think it's like an order of people. Sounds like some kind of...
Evocatus.
Like police or something.
Yep. Evocatus meaning, see what that is?
An Evocatus was a soldier in the ancient Roman army who had served out his time and obtained an honorable discharge.
Oh, okay. So they were still helping Rome. All right. That probably was that was
so
us.
A retired cop.
Yeah, it was a retired cop. Damn. All right. Go back.
Yeah. Former law enforcement, basically. There were yet living of the family of our Lord the grandchildren of Judas, called the brother of our Lord, according to the flesh. These were reported as being of the family of David, and were brought to Domitian by the Evocatus. For this emperor was as much alarmed at the appearance of Christ as Herod.
Whoa. For this emperor was as much alarmed at the appearance of Christ as Herod. Remember, they understand dark sentences. Remember that. They understand dark sentences. So
that's why he tried to kill Christ's family,
yeah,
just like Herod tried to kill the
because he understood Christ was coming back. He knew. He's like, yo, I want to get rid of them just in case he pop up. Just in case he, one of them in that line, he knows that Christ is in that line. All right, so he understood that thing. Read it again.
For this emperor was as much alarmed at the appearance of Christ as Herod.
Hey, remember it says he was highly devoted to his imperial cult. He was vigilant as far as sacrifices, all of those things. So you think he ain't study us? They were studying us. He knew that Christ was going to return. So what he was trying to do is kill off the lineage. All right, the same as Herod did. Go ahead.
What's crazy, Domitian was born, I was just looking it up, in 51 AD. That was way after Christ died. So he was taught this thing.
Yeah, he was taught. He was like, yo, they're going to return. I mean, Christ, their Savior will return. So he's like, look, just to stop that thing, let's just kill off the whole lineage. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
For this emperor was as much alarmed at the appearance of Christ as Herod. He put the question whether they were of David's race, and they confessed that they were. He then asked them what property they had and how much money they owned.
Or how much.
Or how much money they owned. And both of them answered that they had between them only 9,000 denarii.
Hey, look that up. 9,000 denarii. I think denarii. I mean, of course, that's dollars. Or I think that's silver coins. 9,000 denarii. Oh shoot.
Denarius.
Can y'all help them out?
How much is one denarii?
No, just put 9,000 denarii. Put the whole thing. 9,000 denarii. Can y'all spell it for them? D-E-N-A-R. Yep. Leave it there. Go down. Blow it up.
It's like $14,695.53.
So they have, between the two of them, they have like $14,000. All right. Okay. How much is a denarii worth today? Go down. All right. So it's like 14,000. Go ahead. Go back to the page.
$14,600. So, and both of them answered that they had between them only 9,000 denarii, and this they had not in silver, but in the value of a piece of land.
So they had it in a piece of land. So they didn't have it in actual money. Okay, it was just a piece of land they had that was worth that amount. Go ahead.
Containing only 39 acres, from which they raised their taxes and supported themselves by their own labor.
Read.
Then they also began to show their hands.
So now he looked at their hands. Like, let me see your hands. Go ahead.
Exhibiting the hardness of their bodies and the callosity formed by incessant labor on their hands.
So they had calluses all on their hands. From what? Labor, slavery, hard work. Go ahead.
As evidence of their own labor.
Well, as evidence of their own labor on that land. Farming, agriculture.
When asked also respecting Christ and his kingdom, what was its nature?
So, yeah, there you go. Now you're asking, so what's up with Christ and this kingdom to come that's supposed to be restored back to you Israelites, to the royal family and all of Israel? Go ahead.
And when and where it was to appear.
And when and where are they going to come from? When is it going to appear? Sounds just like Herod. Go ahead.
They replied that it was not a temporal nor an earthly kingdom, but celestial and angelic.
Damn. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
That it would appear at the end of the world, when coming in glory he would judge the quick and dead and give to everyone according to his works.
Read.
Upon which Domitian, despising them, made no reply, but treating them with contempt as simpletons, commanded them to be dismissed, and by a decree ordered the persecution to cease.
So he ordered the persecution to cease. Go ahead. The persecution of the royal line. Go ahead.
Thus delivered they ruled the churches both as witnesses and relatives of the Lord. When peace was established, they continued living even to the times of Trajan.
So that's heavy. He said, upon which Domitian, despising them, made no reply, but treating them with contempt as simpletons, commanded them to be dismissed, and by a decree ordered the persecution to cease. It says, thus delivered, they ruled the churches, both as witnesses and relatives of the Lord. All right? So when peace was established, they continued living even to the times of Trajan. All right? So they were following Christ as well. All right? Even to the times of Trajan. Go ahead.
Such is the statement of Hegesippus. Tertullian also has mentioned Domitian thus. Domitian had also once attempted the same against him, who was, in fact, a limb of Nero for cruelty.
All right, that's all I want. Drop that. Now, give me, I got some other pages, the martyrdoms. Now, Deacon Isaac, as you see with his classes on the Sabbath, he put together, they bad. He put together with the martyrdom of the apostles. Okay, he did it like a live, pretty much a live action type of thing with them. Animated with the apostles, okay? So check that out. I'm just going to read some of the apostles that was put to death in between these time periods, all right, of the emperors, okay? But you can go check out IUIC Dallas, okay, and check out those of Andrew, Bartholomew. I think Deacon did pretty much all of them.
Paul,
He did all the apostles. Yep. Okay, so go check them Jones out off of IUIC Dallas. All right. That's not the first one. I want the first one. Yep, right there. Let me see. We just gonna jump around.
Stephen.
No. James the Great.
Matthew.
Start with Philip.
Saint Philip. This apostle and martyr was born in Bethsaida in Galilee and was the first called by the name of disciple. He was employed in several important commissions by Christ, and being deputed to preach in Upper Asia, labored very diligently in his apostleship. He then traveled into Phrygia, and arriving at Heliopolis, found the inhabitants so sunk in idolatry as to worship a large serpent. St. Philip, however, converted many of them to Christianity, and even procured the death of the serpent.
Damn. Go ahead.
This so enraged the magistrates that they committed him to prison, had him severely scourged, and afterwards crucified. His friend St. Bartholomew found an opportunity of taking down the body and burying it, for which, however, he was very near suffering the same fate. His martyrdom happened 8 years after that of St. James the Great, AD 52, and his name, together with that of St. James the Less, is commemorated as on the 1st of May.
Yeah, so that's when they started worshiping us. Started worshiping the apostles. All right, go down to Matthew.
St. Matthew. This evangelist, apostle, and martyr was born at Nazareth in Galilee, but resided chiefly at Capernaum on account of his business, which was that of a toll-gatherer, to collect tribute of such as had occasion to pass the Sea of Galilee.
So he was like the easy pass at that time.
The toll booth.
Yeah, the toll booth. Go ahead.
On being called as disciple, he immediately complied and left everything to follow Christ. After the ascension of his master, he continued preaching the gospel in Judea about 9 years. Intending to leave Judea in order to go and preach among the Gentiles, he wrote his gospel in Hebrew for the use of the Jewish converts, but it was afterwards translated into Greek by St. James the Less. He then went to Ethiopia, ordained preachers, settled churches, and made many converts. He afterwards proceeded to Parthia, where he had the same success, but returning to Ethiopia, he was slain by a halberd in the city of Nadabar, about the year of Christ 60.
So this happened around 60 AD. Go ahead.
And his festival is kept by the church on the 21st day of September. He was inoffensive in his conduct and in his mode of living remarkably temperate.
All right, go down, see Mark.
A halberd's like a spear.
Yeah, it's a spear, yep.
St. Mark. This evangelist and martyr was born of Jewish parents of the tribe.
Hold on. Go down. I want one. I want the shorter ones. Go. Let me see. Go to Mattathias. Go up. Let me see how short that one is. Yeah, get Mattathias real quick.
St. Matthias, this apostle and martyr, was called to the apostleship after the death of Christ to supply the vacant place of Judas, who had betrayed his master and was likewise one of the 70 disciples. He was martyred at Jerusalem, being first stoned and then beheaded, and the 24th of February.
Oh, we ain't got to read that. That's them worshiping the apostles. But, you know, this is by his own people right here, too, in Jerusalem. Stoned and beheaded. All right. Go down. Andrew, let me see. Go to the next page. We're just going to read some of them.
The ones on the right?
Go to the ones on the right real quick.
St. Jude, this apostle and martyr, the brother of James, was commonly called Thaddeus. Being sent to Edessa, he wrought many miracles and made many converts, which stirring up the resentment of the people in power, he was crucified AD 72.
Okay, go down.
Saint Bartholomew, this apostle and martyr, preached in several.
So Jude was crucified like a couple years right after the destruction. All right. So understand. Remember, they were still prophesying at that time about the destruction. They were still prophesying. Go ahead.
Saint Bartholomew, this apostle and martyr, preached in several countries, performed many miracles, and healed various diseases. He translated St. Matthew's gospel into the Indian language and propagated it in that country. But at length, the idolaters, growing impatient with his doctrines,
they growing impatient. Go ahead.
Severely beat, crucified, and slew him, and then cut off his head.
Damn. Yo, this is what was going down. This is what was happening to the 12.
St. Thomas. He was called by his name in Syriac, but Didymus in Greek. He was an apostle and martyr and preached in Parthia and India, where, displeasing the pagan priests, he was martyred by being thrust through with a spear.
Go down. So that was who?
St. Thomas.
That was Thomas. Go ahead.
St. Luke the evangelist. This martyr was the author of a most excellent gospel. He traveled with St. Paul to Rome and preached to diverse barbarous nations. To the priests in Greece, hanged them on an olive tree.
Damn. Lynched him. He was lynched. Wow. He was lynched.
They've been doing that to us.
Yeah, they've been doing this to us. They lynched him on a tree. Esau. Lynched him on a tree. Go ahead.
This Saint Simon, this apostle and martyr, was distinguished from his zeal by the name of Zelotes. He preached with great success in Mauritania and other parts of Africa, and even in Britain, where though he made many converts, he was crucified.
What year?
AD 74.
So it's 74 AD, after the destruction. Letting you know, some of the apostles were still alive at that time, and they were still preaching the gospel after the destruction. Go ahead.
St. John. He was distinguished for being a prophet, apostle,
Hey, so hold that. We're going to deal with John on the next show. We're going to deal with John next show. All right. Life lasts, Lord's will. All right. So we just wanted to get to some of the martyrdom of the apostles that was still around at that time during the after the destruction, a little bit before the destruction of Jerusalem.
That's for like 40 years after Christ died.
Yeah.
They were still going.
They were still going.
40 years, still going and preaching.
Yep. All right, so, hey, we're going to end it there. Officer Ari.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Round of applause for yet again another amazing radio show. Once again. So.
Not radio class?
No, sir, radio show. I had to take my time on that one. So, our hidden history, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channels for more content. We have IUIC Philadelphia, as well with IUIC Philadelphia in the classroom. If you guys want to continue to support OHH, as you see these books are coming out, and you want to support that cause so we continue to feed everybody with knowledge, donate to IUIC.Philadelphia@IsraelUnite.org. Also, keep supporting the Booster Club and donate to IUIC.fundraising@IsraelUnite.org. Last but not least, subscribe to IUIC TV to get exclusive content from our leadership of IUIC. Now we have Shalom. We are seeking assistance to enhance our national broadcasting. So we need everybody to scan the QR code to provide your feedback so that we can continue to enhance the broadcasting IUIC nationwide. We're taking things to the next level, so your participation is greatly appreciated.
All right, all praises. Hey, I just want to give a couple of shout-outs. The IT, we got who we got back there? Officer Amos, Officer Medad. Shout out to those men, the cameramen. We got Soldier Myron. Officer Uriel.
Yeah, special guest.
We got Alabama in the back. Soldier Amaziah. All right. So all praises to those men. The sisters for the breakfast, all praises. Sister Daniela, Sister Shaviva. All right, so just wanted to shout them out. So tune in, Life Lasts, Lord's Will, next show. We're going to go more in depth with John, the Revelator, and what happened to him as far as being banished to the island of Patmos. All right, and we're going to also go into even the islands that they have for banishment today. That they have. Oh, don't think they don't have it today. They have the same. we're gonna do it. They call penile colony. That's what they call it today, penile colony. All right. So, but we're gonna touch on that next week, next show, Life Lasts. All right.
Like Guantanamo is one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. All right. So with that, we're gonna say shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Shalom.
Oh, don't cut it. Hey, tune in. I'm sorry. My bad. Tune in to Deacon Malachi, Raven and Wolves.
That's right.
All right. Hey. And hey, listen. I know the last one they did, City of God. That was bad too. City of God. I'm still watching that one. I'm still finishing it up. But hey, tune in, Deacon Malachi, Raven and Wolves. Tune in every Sunday. At what time? At round 4. Come right on after I think after we get off.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right. So tune into that. We got what else? We got Lion's Den. Wisdom Crieth Out.
Yep.
All right. We got some other shows too. That's also will be shows continuous all day.
That's right.
All right. So we got shows lined up for y'all. All right. So tune in. All right. Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Shalom.
Most High Christ bless.